Go back to another episode of these people that just eat meat and can't stop talking about it. It's Tom here, and I'm flying solo tonight. It's the holiday season, and I'm here to talk about eating during the holidays. So, one of the problems is we get invited places. We're hanging out with family, we're hanging out with friends, might be going to a Friendsgiving or something like that. And there's a lot of other things to eat other than meat when you get there. You might be hungry, and you might be there for hours, and you might have traveled a long way to get there. So, how do you deal with all the temptations of all the foods you might have grown up eating during the holidays, or all the treats that are typically associated with those holidays? I mean, a lot of us are in relationships with people from other cultures, and there's all kinds of new things to try. But if you eat a bunch of starchy, sugary sort of stuff, you're not going to feel so good. So, what do you do about it? Well, one of the things I've done in the past is preheat. So, I eat something before I go. And, if you don't know how long you're going to have to go before you even actually eat a meal, and you're sitting around and there's all kinds of treats and hors d'oeuvres and even beverages, the holiday season here is cold, and people make all sorts of beverages, holiday beverages that are sweet. They might be apple juice based or something like that, or even mulled wine or whatever. And you don't want to load up on a bunch of sugar. So you want to avoid those things. And then, there could be cookies and cakes and nuts and stuff like that sitting around, and you want to avoid them. So what do you do? Well, one of the things I've often done, and a lot of times I have some foreknowledge of what to expect before I get there, but I'll preheat. And when you don't know how long you have to go without actually eating what you want to eat, it can help to eat fattier foods, because you'll stay satisfied longer. So you might want to consider things like, bacon, sausage. Of course, uh, your fatty cuts of beef are popular among carnivores, anyways, but even hot dogs tend to be fattier than most of the other things you can eat, and they tend to carry you over longer. So that's something. And then you might also want to plan a post meal strategy. Uh, not every not every restaurant's open during the holidays, so you want to know which ones are. I mean, maybe you want to slip in and get some burger patties on the way home, or maybe you're going to stay in a hotel out of town, so you might want to get some idea of where you can eat after the fact if you're still hungry, because there wasn't a lot of meat to eat at the event. So that's something to just plan ahead and be prepared. Um, you might want to bring some meat. I know one of the things I do when I can bring something, and I'll share a picture or two here. Um, Sometimes I make a charcuterie platter. So I think you can see that here. Here you go. Typically, charcuterie is displayed on a board, but I typically just use a platter because um, I have one, and it's a little more convenient than finding a charcuterie board. I have a small charcuterie board, but it's not the kind of thing I'd bring to an event with a lot of people. So as you can see here, there's a large assortment of cheese around the outside, and then there's some salami, and then there's prosciutto and all kinds of stuff in there. And it usually goes over really well. People really like eating this kind of stuff. So um, bringing something with you to an event, something like this with you to an event, gives you something to eat and lets you contribute to the event. So I've made this exact sort of platter. This exact there's a big oval shaped porcelain platter under there. I've taken that to probably a dozen places by now, and I managed to get home with it afterwards. So, or get it shortly a few days later. So that could work in your favor because you can load up on this, and then if they're not serving a lot of meat with dinner or brunch or lunch or whatever you're there for, at least you got this on your side. This was actually something put together for Thanksgiving. Yes, I tried to sculpt a turkey out of Braunschweiger. If you don't know what Braunschweiger is, it's basically a German style pate. It's basically made from pork liver and pork fat with some seasonings. And then, of course, I made some a beak and some rather non-artistic looking legs out of cheese there, some tail feathers out of cheese and stuff. Actually, when this was done, I think it had quite a bit more cheese around it, but you get the drift, right? So it's just kind of fun. I know one time I went to a friend's house and I made a giant pig out of Braunschweiger. So, and I'd made some sort of I think he's like jerky chips or something like that. So you could scoop up the Braunschweiger with the jerky chips. So, and then if you got to stop on the way home, maybe you can just get the or on the way there. Maybe you can get the old burger patties and cheese, keep you going for the long haul or the intermediate haul, as it were. So anyways, little strategies like that help you get through the holidays. I mean, a lot of times the holidays are kind of stressful, right? That being said, it's not uncommon to see things like deviled eggs, which they might have a little something extra in there because they scoop out the yolk and mix it with stuff, and then maybe that's not what you typically eat, but it's not too far off. So a lot of people do okay with that. And then hopefully they have a cheese platter. Another thing sometimes I do is I take some thick cut bacon. Lately I've been curling them up and kind of, I haven't tried this yet, but I've seen some people actually shape them like a flower. But you take a nice thick piece of bacon and you curl it, you put it in the air fryer, and they travel well. And sometimes you can just bring a plate of that. People, as odd as it seems to be serving bacon as an hors d'oeuvre, it always goes over well. So if you're at an event and there's not a lot of meat to eat, there's not a lot of things like charcuterie and bacon to snack on, you can always try and sneak a little extra butter, because if they have real butter, typically nobody notices if you use that as a filler. And of course, bacon or butter is very fatty, so it's very satiating. So you could also put some jerky in your pocket and eat some on the way there, or eat some when you sneak out to get something out of your car or whatever, or when you finally leave and you get in your car, at least you got something to eat, right? So another thing, I haven't really experienced too much of it myself, but I know a lot of people report feeling some social pressure. People are like, oh, I can't believe you're not eating this or that or whatever. But, I always just tell people, well, that's what I got to do, because if I don't, this or that happens. And usually that's all it takes. But when I get grilled by somebody, I say, well, it's doctor's orders. What are they going to say? Because the holidays can be stressful. So I typically, especially during the holidays, I do as much as possible not to draw any attention to it. So, because I might be stressed out, other people might be stressed out, and it's not really something to worry about, right? So, but it helps if you're prepared. I know I live in Southern California. It's really common to get stuck in traffic. So it helps to, have some water in the car, have some snacks. It's nothing here to have to go, say, 30, 40 miles and spend 4 hours in traffic, 2 hours there and 2 hours back, especially on the holidays. So being prepared with stuff like that can help and lower your stress, make you more satisfied, and help keep the temptations to eat things you shouldn't be eating down. And of course, some people have to travel in airports and stuff like that. They spend a lot of time sitting in airports and taking shuttles and, so on and so forth. So layovers and all that. So, if you can't just slip into a restaurant at the airport and get some burger patties, maybe you want to have some jerky or some bacon or something like that with you to eat. Even I know a lot of people trash the old hot dog, but it's better than a lot of other alternatives. And of course, the quality of hot dogs is all over the place. So, when you're traveling and you're eating what's available, you don't always know what it is, but most people don't have a problem with the ingredients of hot dogs, especially if they're not eating them every day. So that's also a nice option. So anyways, I just wanted to drop some hints for the people out there, help them hopefully enjoy the holidays and not stress about it, and spend their time off from work and visiting with friends and family and other loved ones with a little bit more leverage. So anyways, I hope this helps for people out there. And I know this is a short video. Usually like to do longer videos, but it's the holidays and who has free time during the holidays? So until next time, whatever you do, don't fall down the carb hole.